All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. My name is Casey Halpern, and I'm thrilled to be joined by a very special guest, avid gambler, electric Twitter personality, Mr. George Riley Panagakis, a.k.a. GRP Wins. George, it's great to virtually meet you. How are we feeling?
Casey, great. Having a good afternoon. Thanks for inviting me on your show. And this should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, glad to have you. Excited to have you. Learn a bit more about you. Let's get into it. Let's start from the top. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit more about yourself? When and how did you get into gambling?
Well, probably started, late high school, 20-ish, right around then. I was into poker. And then I got the sports gambling bug. Hit a couple parlay cards in high school, and that kind of started the whole thing. And I was really into the research work for like the 5 years after high school. I was really into it. And then regarding sports gambling, I kind of got away from it for a while, moved to California. I've been playing a lot of poker. And 5 years ago, when they changed the law in May of 2018, the Supreme Court made that big ruling. I knew that sports gambling would take off. And then I kind of redid a lot of my data. And then, for the last 5 years, I've been pretty much intently into it.
Interesting. So you say you had a lot of data going back 20 years or so. I got to ask, since this is one thing I admire about you, that you're old school. You write everything down. You're like myself. Look, I got everything prepared for you today. Notes and notes. Where are those notebooks from 20 years ago with that data? Do you still have them?
No. So I'm 58. So, I got out of school 40 years ago-ish. And then the next 5 years, I did a lot of data. So this was during the early 80s. I did a lot of data back testing, yada, yada, yada. And at some point, who knows when, maybe 1990, you move on to something else. I probably threw a lot of stuff out. But the reality is the data almost becomes worthless because the game has changed. So a lot of that data is, believe it or not, kind of irrelevant anyway. You kind of got to, every 5 years, you got to kind of go with the flow of the game. Like, for example, now if a team is a 10-point favorite, they can cover very easily. But if you saw like a 10-point spread like 30 years ago, maybe before you were born, 35 years ago, you would kind of always take the 10 points and you maybe you'd win 60% of the time. But now the game has changed. The NFL, you can score points so quick. So things have changed.
Interesting. So adapt or die. I like it. You're like a modern Billy Bean over here.
There you go.
All right. Before we get into your futures portfolio at large, because there's a lot of stuff on there I want to discuss with you, I want to get your thoughts on a few things. Currently, I know you tweeted out that you took a great prop I'm actually jealous of for the NFL draft. You took Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the first non-quarterback drafted at, I believe, minus 130, correct?
Right. I rounded it to 130, like 128-ish, but we'll call it 130, correct.
Got it. I'm very jealous you were able to get that down. As someone who lives in New York, so I can't actually bet the draft here in New York. I got to cross the river. But the draft was one market I used to bet religiously every year. But now I'm severely limited on it. So I'm unable to get any action down. If so, I could get maybe $20 down on nothing really great. So I'm jealous you were able to get it down. How do you feel about the prop today?
Well, I feel great. I initially bet it a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, through DraftKings. They're the only ones that even offered it. We're 6 months ahead, and right now DraftKings is minus 145. So, yeah, number one, I love the prop. I'm like you. I love the prop. I think he should be minus 300. If he has a minor injury, the teams will look away. If he totally blows a knee out, sure, that's a different animal. But I'll take that 5% chance. And again, that's one of the few bets that I literally love the bet. I got it where I got it. It's unbelievable. Now, let me ask this. Why are you limited? You say you're limited because the sports books have intentionally limited you, or in that area you can't bet? What's the problem?
I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of people at Sunday Night Football for 5 years. So I was able to establish some connections, some relationships, and I got some good intel for a couple drafts, I would say in 2020, 2021, and 2022. And I was obviously getting some stuff down. And now after consistently winning on a few draft props, it's tough to get some numbers down. So that leads me to my next point, my next question for you that I want to ask. Are you a little nervous about now getting limited after taking such heavy action on these draft props?
You know what? I guess I am nervous about it, but then again, I have to make my bets, and if a couple of these sports books limit me, and I'm kind of a name, people know me now. If they limit me, I'm going to criticize them, and then I'm just going to take my action somewhere else. Like I've never done anything with FanDuel before. Never made a bet with FanDuel. So right now I'm doing a lot of stuff with DraftKings in Rivers Canby. So like, for example, last year I played poker here at Rivers Canby near O'Hare. So I won 40, 50 grand, everything with the under on the Bears. I kind of did it with Rivers Canby. So they have me on file as beating them out of 50 grand last year on everything under Bears props. Worst team in the worst defense, under 7. Yeah, so they have me on file. So far, I can walk in and still place a bet. DraftKings has me on file. I've won a couple bets with them, but no big deal. And, everyone says this is going to happen. I hope it doesn't, but I'm just going to keep firing. You know what I mean? I'm just going to keep shooting.
You got to fire at the hip until you can't anymore.
Exactly. And now we have Circa here. Circa is very good with, I'm not a big, taking a big bet on the game. That's not like I'm more of a prop guy, and Circa is going to have more props in the future. So you know what? There's a lot of competition. If these guys want to do something dumb, they could do something dumb.
Yeah. Going back to the sides, you say you're not a big side guy. I know you're off to a pretty decent start this season betting sides. You were 11-4 before you turned the page onto the new sheet.
There you go.
And I actually like
big. I mean dollar. Okay, granted, $1,000 is real money, but there's some guys that very few guys, but these guys will take 10, 20 grand on an NFL game on the side. I don't have that kind of money. There's I can never even think about it. But that's what I call a big bet on the side. 1,000 I call a medium bet. Let's put it that way.
Look, everyone has their own unit size. I consider $1,000 bet a big bet. So
yeah.
One thing I enjoy about you is that you actually are very honest on Twitter. You are upfront. You tell it like it is. You call it like it is. It seems like. So I admire that part. There's a lot of people on gambling Twitter that are not. They're not quite transparent. And another thing I like is that you encourage people that they don't need to bet. Like if they don't have an edge on something, if they don't feel good about something, you don't need to bet. Like that is the right approach. And like more and more novice gamblers need to understand that you don't need to bet on every single side, total, spread, whatever. So kudos to you for that. Do you get a new notebook every year?
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll just go through 1 or 2 notebooks a year. Of course, I spend a whole $3. I go to the office supply store and I get a new notebook. Yeah, my big investment. There you go.
Is it a spiral one, composition?
Here, let's see here again. Let's see what was the front page here. Look at this. We got
oh yeah.
What's the brand there? Look at this. There it is.
Top flight standards, 3 subject, wide rule. I like that.
There you go. And here's here's my props with percentages and then stuff like that.
I like it. What do you have against the notepad, though?
No, you know what? I don't know why. Notepads are also clean. For some reason, I've been using these. I have no idea why.
All right. But how many years back do you have in notebooks? Like,
let's say the modern history of the last 5 years. Let's go that way with it.
You should auction off a signed GRP notebook on Twitter. I think that would be great for Christmas.
How about my one from 2 months ago or a month ago when my cuticle was, that's kind of like start this phenomenon. Because I bite my nails and my cuticle was bleeding and I got blood over one of my old prop sheets.
A game-worn GRP notebook, even better. Come on.
Unbelievable. That could go from money someday. You never know.
I think we should maybe do a bid on that for maybe Thanksgiving or Christmas. We could help organize something.
Unbelievable.
That would be a great giveaway. I'm telling you.
Right.
People would love it. All right. Before we dive into the portfolio, have you seen the prop market on yourself over there at the offshore exchange forecasters?
Well, someone did a joke a day or two ago. Was that you or someone else?
That was not me.
Okay. Yeah. I just glanced. What was whether or not I'm a winner or a loser the next 2 months of the season? Was that what it was?
Yes, I believe so. And it was like, yes, yes was like plus money at plus 130, I believe. And no was like minus 110. I forget.
I think I saw those exact numbers, and whoever did it, that was funny. And someone else, I don't know either, a week ago, played me as at Halloween, and that guy made a funny video. That was really good. I got to give him credit. It
was good. I did enjoy that video. It was very funny. I laughed. I enjoy your videos.
Thanks.
When you get on the stream and you give the good morning, guys, good afternoon, guys, nothing better. It's a real jolt of energy. It's like a cup of coffee.
Thank you.
All right, let's dive into the portfolio. I'm going to bring up one of the sheets. I saved it. Hold on. Let me present it to everyone because I want to go through it and I want to get your thought process on a lot of them. Hold on. I'm just presenting it here. All right. I have it up. Everyone on the stream should be able to see it now. These are just some of the portfolios, some of the plays you have in your portfolio this year. So let's go through it line by line.
Right. It's literally, it literally is every play. I just have it broken down in percentages from what I think are my best positions to the worst. But it literally is basically every one of my positions, except for the draft. And what was the other weird bet? Oh, I made a bet on the Clippers, a futures bet on the Clippers the other day. So except for those two, everything is here.
Okay, so I have a follow-up on the Clippers. I want to save that till later. But how do you assign the percentages to your futures portfolio? Like, walk me through that process of how you really get the estimates.
You know what? There is absolutely no secret formula. It's strictly an estimate out of my head. There's no people. Some people are amazed by it. So if we go right from the top, let's say the very one which I think is Carolina Panthers under 6.5 wins.
Great bet.
Yeah, I bet 1,000 minus 115, and I'm pretty sure I made this bet right after week 1. Okay. So obviously, people were talking before the year. Let's put the quarterback aside. I don't think Carolina talent is that good. I don't think there's anything special about it. But a lot of people thought they were going to be decent. That's why their number was even higher. And then the quarterback, he's not a bad kid. I think he's a little small. He's got no weapons. They look really bad week 1. So, I bet the under 6.5 for almost even money. So they had to go like 7 and 9 the rest of the year after week 1. So I made a bet. And so far, everything's going my way on that bet.
Looks good. And then Arizona also looks good. Did you just keep reinvesting on that as the season started, like after week 1 or 2, like after they got that win against the Giants, or these are all preseason numbers on Arizona?
No, correct. These are all right. They're all preseason numbers. And yes, as you can see there's 3 different bets. So the first bet, that's another good thing this is not the master sheet. There's a master sheet where I write down every time I make a bet. And the good thing about that is people can see the time frame of when I made the bet also. So yes, I have 3 separate bets in Arizona. Probably the last one I bet was the under 5 for $3,000 because it started at 5.5 and then it went down to 5. And I see they're like tanking, and I just had more confidence in my pick. So I just added on to the bet. So yes, I've got over $10,000 in Arizona under, and my bet, right now the bet looks great. And
so that is the middle one, the under 5.5. That's 2.3K, right? Not 23K.
Exactly. So my first bet was 5K, and then I'm like, maybe let's say a month later, I'm like, there's no way they're going to win 6 games. I mean, I'm thinking there's no way I can lose this bet. So this 2.3K bet minus 230, it's to win 1,000. So it's like I'm giving them 2.5 to 1. I'm like, there's no way Arizona's going to win 6 games. This is like putting money in the bank. So that was that bet. Correct. So these are different bets.
Okay. Vikings under 6.5. You must be feeling a little queasy about that one, but obviously no Kirk the rest of the year might help you on the back end.
But I'm glad you mentioned the Vikings because let me admit, one of the things I do is I put the percentages out like on Sunday night, and I say, guys, here's my estimate. On Monday, I'll redo it and make it really clean like it is now. And the Vikings, and I'll admit, I was wrong a week or 2 ago. I had too high of they won like a couple weeks in a row, and I didn't adjust it correctly. So this last week, I listened to a couple of guys that say, you know what, you're wiring the Vikings, and I looked into it. So I brought them down to like 50% now, but now Cousins is gone. So 50% might be about right. But I was wrong on my estimate a week or 2 on the Vikings. I mean, I admit it.
Granted, they were also heavy dogs against the 49ers. They won that game, and then they were dogs to the Packers and won that game. So I understand why you were so bullish on that one hitting, and I understand why you might have screwed up the numbers there. But look, things happen. Now Dobbs is in with a Jaron Hall probably this week. We actually have a comment from a Michael Halpern on YouTube. He says, I have the Panthers under 7.5 from before the season. What would you assign it percentage-wise? That's a great number, Michael.
Yeah, but he's, you know what? Right. He probably did it the week before the week one. After week one, it went down to 6.5. That's when I got it. Hey, if I think I'm 93% at 6.5, you're probably Michael. You're probably 95% at 7.5. And good for you, buddy. Maybe even more. And you got. But I tell you what, their quarterback, he's not as bad as people think. I mean, he's not a bad quarterback. He's just a little small.
He's
But
just
if you watch
miniature.
him, he's got a nice little feel for the game. But he's got no talent and he's small. He's not a bad player.
He's going to be good. I think he'll be all right. The weapons around them are a little suspect. I know Thielen's having a good year. Their O-line's not great. They just changed play caller, so maybe the back half of the year is a little bit stronger for the Panthers. I like Bryce Young, though. A market I'm fascinated by that you actually have a heavy interest in. I want to get your thoughts on the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I know you hold Damar Hamlin and Baker Mayfield tickets. What are your thoughts on the market currently?
Well, right. So the market right now is Damar Hamlin. He's like minus 150. And,
Right.
Number one, you have to have your own opinion and you have to respect the market. So all he's done is one game he was active. He played like, I don't know, 3 or 4 plays on special teams.
Yep.
I don't think he's played a defensive down yet. But don't forget, you're betting on what people are going to vote on at the end of the year. These are reporters, whoever they are, people vote on this. So, and as you know, my first bets were after week one, I bet Tua. I have Tua down there also.
Okay.
He had a great week one, and then I got him at plus 800 after week one. Because I love Tua, and he had an injury thing. I'm like, this guy could come back easy. Now, before the year started, I took Baker Mayfield 75-1. Now, the only thing I regret about that, because right now it's less than 75-1, I risked 2,700, 2.7K. I mean, I wish I just put 1,000 because it's still a long shot. I mean, 2,700 is real money. I mean, what am I doing? But I went crazy one day. I was just pushing the button at DraftKings. They limited me, so I'd have to go $200 at a time, and it was absolutely nuts. So I have 3 different guys, and my Damar Hamlin is strictly a hedge. I put that on about a month ago. Look, I got 1.5K at minus 121. Right now he's minus 150. It's kind of a hedge. But I hope Tua wins it, and I can win 24,000. I'm being real. Baker had a nice start, but he's fading a little bit. But they may win a division. You never know. Anything could happen. But I think I got a shot with Tua.
Okay, so I'm not one to poke fun at any Baker Mayfield bets. I famously actually took Baker to win MVP in 2020. I was very bullish on them and the Browns. That was the year they actually made the playoffs, but I took him to win MVP that year, like 50-1 or something. This is going to come down to Tua and Hamlin. So I think you have the winners. I guess it remains to be seen what the voters think. I think Damar Hamlin is going to win the award. I think he should win the award. I think we all know why he should. We don't need to get into specifics. But I think there also might be a dark horse that no one's really talking about. Do you think if Aaron Rodgers returns this year, and let's say he plays the last 3 games of the year and somehow gets the Jets into the playoffs, do you think that would, 1, make him eligible for the award, or 2, do you think that he could win the award?
You know what? Interesting question. I never thought of that. And career-wise, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. But the problem is, well, yes, that would be wild because you're basing it on his injury this year, and that would because last year, the last couple of years in Green Bay, he kind of got stale. He really did. He's happy he's gone. He loves being in New York.
Well, hold on. He won back-to-back MVPs in the 2 seasons before he left. Last year, he got injured and fell off a bit.
Right, like 2020-ish. I mean, he had a couple of great years. Believe me, I'm a Bears fan. I've seen him play. The guy's a magical player. I have all the respect in the world for his game. But it's what, it's easy for me to say no. It's 100-1. But you have a funny little angle there. He's got to come back. Number one, he's got to come back. He's got to play good. And I'll be honest with you, that play he got hurt on, I don't think he looked that good. He looked a little rusty. It was like he had a really weird look to him. And it's 99% you're going to be wrong in your theory, but it is a wild theory. Have you seen his name on a CPOI odds sheet?
I did. I saw it on DraftKings, but I can't bet these markets in New York. You can't bet awards here, only in Jersey. But it was
Oh, that's
40 to
funny.
1.
It's different states have different laws. Exactly right.
Crazy. It's very stupid, very antiquated in the ways. I did see 40 to 1 at the beginning of this week, though, because I did look. I am a Jets fan, full disclosure. So I would love that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. No, you can. I would bet 100 to 1 against that also. Yes.
Okay. So interesting. So it's possible, not out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
Do you really believe Tyson Bagent is a solid quarterback?
I've probably watched. He's played 2 games for the Bears. I've probably watched about half of it. The guy has a certain feel for the game. I mean, he has a. Let's put it this way: for a guy in his first start 10 days ago, he had a certain command of the huddle, and you can see it, and you have to respect that. He wasn't afraid. He plays very quick. When you analyze a quarterback, you have to go with the eye test. This Bagent plays quick. Justin Fields, he plays slow. Now, granted, Fields can run. There might be a little bit of a coaching thing there, but this Bagent plays quick. He had that 1 touchdown pass dropped against last weekend, against the Chargers. I mean, he is what he is. I think he's going to be at least a 10-year backup, and I give the man a credit because he has a certain it factor. He really does.
He has some moxie. I'm with you there.
He does.
I think he could be a backup in the league for a bit. I agree on the Fields processing thing. I don't think
Horrendous.
I don't think it's going to work out for him. All right, let's shift gears to basketball because I saw this one and kind of just shook my head. What was the impetus behind the Clippers 1 seed bet?
Okay, I'm a very casual NBA fan. I mean, the regular season. I mean, it's become I don't even know who's playing. It's a complete joke. I do like the playoffs. We can talk about that. But anyway, just my gut. They made the trade. What did I get? 11 to 1 or 12 to 1? Whatever. One of those.
I think you got 11 to 1.
Bingo. Okay, they have like 3 or 4. Believe me, I'm not an NBA analyst. They have, I think, 3 or 4 decent players. You can call them weird, whatever you want. But if these guys are on, I mean, I think they could have the best record in the regular season and lose in the playoffs. Give me 12 to 1. I don't think it's that bad of a bet. The Lakers, if one of the big 2 get hurt, they got a problem. Denver's got 2 great players. And again, I'm not an NBA analyst at all, but I think for 12 to 1, it's worth a shot.
That's fair. I get the process and reasoning there.
Right.
I wouldn't have taken it myself. I probably need a higher number just because they are so injury riddled all the time, and it's a regular season. It's never meant less. So long season, I think they might save their legs for the playoffs, but that remains to be seen. A lot of basketball left to be played.
Right.
Before I shift gears, I want to get some food talk in with you because
all right.
I love some of the stuff you put out there, but
I'm kind of a fast food guy. Yeah.
2 other gambling related questions for you. What is the best bet you've ever made, and what is the worst bet you've ever made?
Good question. So this was a prop in the Super Bowl about 3 years ago when it was Kansas City against Tampa. So this was still when COVID was going on, and Mahomes had a questionable big toe. So a week before the Super Bowl, I took all the low numbers on Kansas City. So, the props when you have to pick the exact number.
Yep.
So what I did was I went to Hammond, Indiana, which is just over the border here in Indiana and Chicago. This is before Caesars was around here. So I made it with Caesars at Hammond, Indiana. So I took all the 10 lowest numbers in the Super. So I took 100 on each number. So 0. Kansas City had to score 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I had all 10 numbers for 100 each. So I risked 1,000. Tampa Bay won 30 to 9. So the number 9 hit.
31-9.
30 to 9 was something like that. The score, not exactly, but the point is Kansas City only scored 9 points because they were off their game. The offensive line, they had nothing. So that paid me 150 to 1 on $100. So I won. I got back 15,000. That was really nice. But here's the other weird thing I did. Here's the bet. At the exact same time, the worst bet ever. I also paid for the number 4 because so the number 2, which means they just had to only score 2 points, like a safety, was 5,000 to 1. Still a long shot, but crazier things have happened. The number 4, which should have been 100,000 to 1, whatever. It was only 10,000 to 1. But this is the worst bet I ever placed in my life. So I bet $100 that Kansas City only scores 4 points. So what are the odds of that? Give me a break.
Right.
But the reason why I did it, because I wanted it on the ticket. I spend 100 and I get 10,000 to 1, which means it pays me out $1 million. So I did it just because I wanted to see on the ticket, when you get the little slit, the best slip,
Yep.
$1 million collection. That's what I had no chance. The worst bet I ever made in my life, but I wanted to see it on the slip.
I mean, I like that.
You can't beat that story. It's a good story.
You might be one of the only people in America to ever take that bet for 4 points to be scored by a team in the Super Bowl, because that is absolutely wild.
Right. That's probably that. Maybe that's a good point. I'm probably the only person in the history of this country that ever took a bet like that. Yeah.
I think you got to add that to your Twitter profile, your bio.
No, we can't. I don't want to talk about it. Don't.
No, you got to look. You're transparent. You're honest.
Right.
You got to lean into it.
Right.
All right. Before we go on to food, we have some more questions. Who's winning the NBA championship? Someone commented.
I tell you right now. I tell you, I'm only a minor NBA guy. I just bet that. I honestly don't know. There's people that know a lot more about the NBA than me, and there's 10 good teams. I have no idea.
Got it. And I know you asked me this before, but what are your thoughts on betting exchanges? If you have any, you got to come to Jersey. You got to check out our odds, because they're going to blow you away. You're going to win a lot more.
Well, what's funny about betting exchanges? I thought about it years ago. Like when a guy makes a big bet, and the sports books are afraid to take it, there should be an exchange where, you post it. Joe Blow, I want, I want Philly for 100,000, and then another guy out there says, "I'll take it for 100," and they pay a little less juice, and the exchange makes a little bit of money. I thought about this 5 years ago.
George, you got to get over to Jersey. All right, you got to come on the Profit Exchange. You're going to really love it.
All right.
We got another comment. A lot of integrity from George, from Connor Allen. I agree. As integral as a person as it comes, honest, transparent. He's the reason why he's one of my favorite Twitter follows. All right, let's talk a little food. So you're Greek, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it pronounced hero or gyro?
Euro.
Euro.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Sort of like euro, but like euro. Okay.
There you go. Yeah. The G is silent, kind of like YRO, euro. Yeah.
What is your favorite Greek dish?
Euro's great for a fast food, but the thing is, it's got to be like made from scratch almost, or it has to be high quality. Because a lot of Euro, if you're in a casino in the middle of Iowa and you get a Euro sandwich, it's going to be frozen slabs of meat, and they put it on the grill. It's garbage. It's. I wouldn't.
Who in their right mind is ordering a Euro in the middle of Iowa in a casino?
There's probably maybe 3 people they do it and they regret it. Exactly.
Are you one of them?
Never done that, because I have to have the high quality. So I won't even, if I saw it on the menu, I wouldn't eat it if it was free.
Okay, that's fair.
Right. So you know what a Euro is, and then there's domadas, which is a meatball wrapped around a leaf with the sauce on top. And I do like lamb shanks, and there's pasticho, which is the Greek version of lasagna.
So one of my best friends growing up, his father was Greek, so his mom learned how to make like pasticho. I know I just pronounced it wrong, and all like the Greek delicacies. So I love all that. I'm a fat ass. I'll eat anything in front of me. So I'm on the seafood diet. I see it, I eat it.
Bingo.
Do you like spanakopita, moussaka?
You know what? I like it all. I really do. Yeah.
What is your favorite Greek restaurant in the United States? Could be anywhere.
Well, there's the famous one in Fort Lauderdale, which is called Greek Islands. I don't know if you've been there or not.
Where is it? In Fort Lauderdale?
Oakland Boulevard and A1A. You got to wait in line to get in.
What's it called? Greek Isles, you just said?
It's called Greek Islands, yeah.
Greek. All right. I'll be in Florida next month. I'm just writing this down. Greek Islands, A1A, and where?
Oakland Boulevard.
A1A in Oakland. Okay.
That's Fort Lauderdale, near the ocean.
I know exactly where it is. I go. I have family there. Okay. I'll be heading to Greek Islands on your recommendation, and we'll have a follow-up after. A little review.
Bingo.
Have you been to any Greek restaurants in New York that you recommend I should check out?
Only once in my life. I forget the name of it. I flew in. I flew into New York 2-3 years ago for Bet Bash, Spanky's Bet Bash 1. And
you were there?
I flew in.
I was there. How come we didn't? How did we not meet?
I was there, and anyway, I landed like 12 noon at LaGuardia, and I think the neighborhood just south of LaGuardia is a Greek neighborhood, Astoria. It's called.
Astoria.
And I
You went to
Googled,
Monty's?
and I texted the Twitter and I said, give me and I went to this place that's well known for fish. Just sat outside. It was pretty good. I forgot the name of it though.
Okay. Next time you're in New York, we got to get you to New York. I'll take you to a great Greek spot. I know plenty here. As I said, I love food. I'll take you to Taverna in the Lower East Side. I'll take you to Astoria. We'll go to Stamontes. We'll do it all. I'll take you to Yasu Vlaki, which is on my corner. Great gyro, authentic Greek. So next time you're in town, on me, some Greek food. And we'll bring you over to Jersey. You'll try out Profit Exchange. But before I let you go, what's the number one piece of advice you have for a novice gambler?
Specialize in a sport. Don't pick your sport. Like I'm NFL 98%. I know almost nothing about college. I dabble in here, dabble there. But number one, pick your sport. Number two, like you said earlier, take a weekend off. Take a night just because the game's on TV. You don't have to bet it. I mean, I've only picked like 15 games. I'm kind of like half props, half games. I mean, you got to take a weekend off. You got to take a weekend off and pick your sports. That's it.
Sometimes you got to recharge the batteries. It's as simple as that. Go back to the drawing board.
Exactly.
All right, George, I appreciate you doing this. What do you have to plug? Where can people find you? This was a lot of fun.
My Twitter account, GRP wins. So George Riley Panagakis wins on Twitter.
Perfect. You heard the man. Shoot him a follow. You will not regret it. I promise you that. George, this was great. We'll do this again soon. Thank you for coming on.
Casey, thank you, buddy. Maybe we'll do when the football season's over. We'll see how my props came out. We'll do it in 2 months.
Absolutely. And we'll get some gyros on the stream as well. Heroes. Heroes. All right.
All right, buddy. Have a great weekend this weekend.
What?
Have a great weekend this weekend.
You as well. Stay safe. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy week 9.
Thanks, buddy.